Is Accra in Ghana in a huge housing bubble? That's going to be the topic of today's video. Now, if you're an expat or a high net wealth individual in particular, go over to infuriated.com and see how I can help you. Now, on this video, I'm going to talk about where Ghana, and specifically Accra, is in a huge housing bubble. Now, what's interesting is if you go onto Numbero and you look at various ways of looking at the affordability index, Accra is either number 1 or number 2 in terms of the least affordable places to live, at least from the point of view of housing. So in other words, relative to income or average income, the real estate market in Ghana is actually more overvalued than even places like Hong Kong, London, and so on and so forth. Only Damascus in Syria has actually competed with Accra in recent times. However, one question to ask though is it sustainable? One thing I saw in the UK is one of the reasons why London house prices have been sustainable is that there's a lot of overseas buyers. So whereas the rest of the country is not sustainable if incomes keep not matching house price growth, in London, because it's like a hub for the world in some ways, just like New York or one or two other places, it is sustainable for that one city to keep seeing house price growth. That doesn't mean house prices are always going to go up. In fact, there's been many years they've gone down, and London house prices haven't performed as well sometimes as people think. For example, even the S&P 500 and major stock markets have often beaten London house prices. But the point I'm making is it is possible for London house prices to keep going up, even though they've already gone up a lot for the reason I alluded to, not to mention 0% interest rates and so on. With Ghana, obviously you do have certain things in favor of house price growth. For example, the very richest people can buy a lot of houses. And also, culturally speaking, people like houses in that part of the world. In addition to that, many people in Ghana, and I know this firsthand from my Ghanaian clients, they struggle to get access to overseas investment opportunities. So they come to somebody like me because they want to invest in certain assets overseas, stocks, ETFs, and so on, but they don't know how to do it locally from Ghana. It isn't as easy as somewhere like the United States or the UK. So often property is the path of least resistance. Also, you have an increasing middle class who can also afford property. Nevertheless, Ghana does not have a huge amount of overseas buyers compared to London. Yes, you have the Nigerian business people, you have a small number of expats from the West who also sometimes buy property, but you don't actually have a huge reliance on overseas buyers like London has, or one or two other places. So I would say long term, the prices aren't going to be sustainable and they'll have to come down sooner or later. So if you're in Ghana, if you're a high net wealth individual or even a middle class individual, I would say diversify away from property. Don't put all your eggs in that basket. How can I help you? In 2 ways. First of all, are you an expat, a high net wealth individual, or just somebody who lives in a part of the world where it's difficult to get access to quality investment solutions? In which case, go onto my website on infuriated.com and find out more. If you don't fit into any of those categories, then in which case there's a range of free material on my website, on this YouTube channel, and indeed on my Quora, where I get over 200 or have received over 231 million views in the last few years. And finally, if you want to actually read my thoughts in more detail, go onto Amazon and find my book on there.